Behind every iPhone that shines in our hands, there is a story most people never hear. A story of long factory lines, endless shifts, and thousands of workers whose lives remain hidden behind the glass screens we admire every day. This is the dark reality behind Foxconn, the company that builds millions of iPhones for Apple. Foxconn, officially known as Han High Precision Industry, is one of the largest electronics manufacturers in the world. Its factories in China employ hundreds of thousands of workers. Some of these factories are so massive that they are often called iPhone cities, entire campuses where workers live, eat, and work, all within the same complex. At first glance, these factories look incredibly efficient. Workers in uniforms move quickly across assembly lines, carefully placing tiny components that will soon become the device used by millions around the world. But behind this efficiency lies a life that many workers describe as exhausting and emotionally draining. Many Foxconn workers work extremely long hours. During peak production seasons, shifts can stretch up to 12 hours or even longer. The pressure to meet global demand for iPhones is enormous. When a new model launches, production targets rise dramatically, and workers often face intense schedules. For many young people in rural China, Foxconn represents an opportunity. They leave their hometowns hoping for stable income and a better future. But the reality can be very different from what they expected. Workers often live in crowded dormitories near the factories. Several people share small rooms with little privacy and limited personal space. Life quickly becomes a routine of sleeping, working, eating, and repeating the same cycle again and again. One of the most controversial moments in Foxconn's history happened in 2010, when a series of worker suicides shocked the world. Several employees jumped from factory buildings within a short period of time. The incidents sparked global outrage and raised serious questions about working conditions inside the company. In response, Foxconn installed safety nets around its buildings and promised to improve worker conditions. Apple also announced investigations and said it would work with suppliers to ensure better treatment for employees. But critics argued that deeper problems still remained. Another issue often discussed is the repetitive nature of factory work. On the assembly line, a worker might perform the same small task hundreds or even thousands of times every single day. Tight schedules and constant monitoring can make the job mentally exhausting. Many workers report feeling like just another part of the machine rather than individuals with voices and rights. Some say the pressure to maintain high speed and accuracy leaves them physically and emotionally drained. Over the years, Apple has faced increasing pressure from activists and journalists to improve transparency in its supply chain. The company has published supplier responsibility reports and claimed it regularly audits factories like Foxconn. These reports say working conditions have improved in many areas, including better wages and stricter labor rules. But critics continue to argue that global demand for cheap electronics still pushes manufacturers to operate under intense pressure. The truth is, the modern tech industry depends on a massive network of factories and workers across the world. Smartphones, laptops, and other devices are built through complex supply chains that most consumers rarely think about. When we hold an iPhone, we see sleek design, powerful technology, and innovation. But behind that polished product lies the labor of thousands of workers who assemble every tiny piece. Foxconn's story reminds us that technology does not exist in isolation. Every device has a human story behind it, a story of effort, pressure, and sacrifice that rarely appears in advertisements or product launches. The next time you unlock your smartphone, it might be worth remembering the invisible workforce that helped create it. Because behind the bright screen in your hand, there is a much darker reality that the world is only beginning to understand.